Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. I&R spoilers. Will Victor use Jordan in a revenge scheme to get Jack fully off the wagon? Young and the Restless. I&R spoilers aren't clear on Victor Newman's Eric Braeden endgame with Jordan Howard, Colleen Zenk. Having her locked up in the dungeon with no food but plenty of vodka seems like a perfect way to torture the villainess and have her pay for her recent actions. However, is there more at play here? The Young and the Restless spoilers. Jordan Howard does have an interesting skill set. I&R spoilers remind fans that during a recent episode, Jordan pointed out that she was willing to do anything to escape the nightmare she was living in. She also reminded him that she has a unique skill set and she was happy to do this dirty work. This could be the ramblings of a desperate lunatic. However, as the show and fans love seeing Jordan on screen, the idea that the psychopath could do Victor's bidding is an interesting plot twist. After all, Jordan makes things interesting in the land of GC, and Colleen Zenk has done a stellar job, but Jordan's constant escapes are getting stale. Victor is very upset at Jack Abbott's, Peter Bergman, recent actions, popping pills in an effort to get Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, to go to rehab was successful, but it was a very dangerous risk, and one that the mustache does not approve of. Jack has once again become public enemy number one in Victor's eyes, and he may go one step further to ensure that Jackie stays away from his wife and his family, for good. I&R spoilers. Victor Newman unleashes Jordan on Jack. I&R spoilers for Friday, May 17. Note: the mustache's revenge plan against Jordan will take a dire turn. This could mean that she escapes the dungeon, but wouldn't that be overly predictable? What if Victor proposes a plan for Jack that includes Jordan, or even asks her for some advice? After all, Jordan was crafty enough to think of injecting Nikki with vodka directly from an IV. Could she think of anything when it comes to Jack and his pill addiction? She was once a nurse after all. As much as Victor hates Jordan, if he can use her to get back at Jack, he will. Could Jordan become a pawn in Victor's game to get back at Jack? Comment below. Catch your favorite soap on CBS each day and visit this site often for the best Young and the Restless spoilers and news. In the small but tumultuous town of Genoa City, secrets and schemes intertwine in a complex tapestry of intrigue. At the center of it all, the legendary Victor Newman, a man whose every move sends ripples through the lives of those around him, stands poised to execute another one of his notorious plans. His target, Jack Abbott. This time Victor's weapon of choice is none other than Jordan, a newcomer whose potential for causing chaos has not gone unnoticed by the keen eyes of the Newman patriarch. Victor Newman, patriarch of the Newman family and titan of industry, was no stranger to conflict with Jack Abbott. Their rivalry spanned decades, each skirmish a chapter in an unending war. Jack, despite his best efforts to turn over a new leaf, had recently teetered on the edge of sobriety. The temptation of the bottle loomed large, and Victor saw an opportunity to push his old adversary over the brink. Jordan, an enigmatic figure with a murky past, arrived in Genoa City under a cloud of suspicion. Her motives were unclear, her alliances uncertain. She had the air of someone running from something, or perhaps running toward an opportunity she couldn't pass up. Victor saw potential in Jordan, potential to be a catalyst in his latest scheme against Jack. "Jordan, my dear," Victor said, his voice smooth and commanding, "I have a proposition for you." Jordan, who had learned quickly that nothing in Genoa City was as it seemed, raised an eyebrow. "And what might that be, Mr. Newman?" Victor's smile was thin, calculated. "I need someone to influence Jack Abbott. You see, he's been on the wagon for some time now. It's admirable, really, but I believe it's time for him to face some of his old demons. With a little push, he could fall off that wagon entirely. And you, Jordan, you could be that push." Jordan's mind raced. Aligning with Victor Newman was a dangerous game, but the rewards could be immense. "And what's in it for me?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "Power, influence, and a foothold in this town. that you currently lack," Victor replied. "Help me with Jack and I'll make sure you're well taken care of." Jordan considered the offer. She had her own reasons for wanting to stay in Genoa City, reasons that went beyond the allure of power. But to dance with the devil himself, it was a risk. Then again, life had never offered her much in the way of security. Maybe it was time to seize an opportunity, no matter how perilous. "All right, Mr. Newman," she said finally. "You've got yourself a deal." Victor's eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "Excellent. Now, let me tell you exactly what I need you to do." Meanwhile, Jack Abbott, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing around him, was focused on maintaining his fragile sobriety. His struggle was a daily battle, each moment a test of his willpower. Surrounded by the ghosts of his past and the weight of his responsibilities, Jack found solace in routine and support from those closest to him. But the shadows of his past were never far away, and it wouldn't take much to tip the balance. Jordan's initial encounters with Jack were innocuous enough. She played the part of a concerned acquaintance, someone who understood the trials of addiction. Her charm was disarming, her presence a welcome distraction from Jack's internal turmoil. She spoke to him of her own struggles, real or fabricated, and offered a sympathetic ear. "Jack, I know it's hard," she said one evening, her voice soft and understanding. "But sometimes you just need to take the edge off. One drink won't hurt. It might even help." Jack frowned, her words striking the chord deep within him. The temptation was palpable, a familiar itch he couldn't quite scratch. "I appreciate the concern, Jordan," he replied, his voice strained. "But I can't risk it. Not after everything." Jordan nodded, her expression one of sympathy. "Of course I understand. Just, if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here." Days turned into weeks, and Jordan's presence became a comforting constant in Jack's life. She never pushed too hard, never made her intentions obvious. She was simply there, a steady influence that slowly began to erode Jack's resolve. It was a subtle game of manipulation, one that Victor Newman watched with keen interest from the sidelines. Victor's plan was progressing perfectly. He knew Jack's weaknesses, knew the demons that haunted him. With Jordan's help, those demons were being brought to the forefront, each encounter a step closer to Jack's inevitable fall. Victor's vendetta against Jack was personal, a culmination of years of animosity. Seeing Jack succumb to his old vices would be the ultimate victory, a testament to Victor's cunning and ruthlessness. As the pressure mounted, Jack found himself increasingly drawn to the very thing he had sworn to avoid. The stress of his responsibilities, coupled with Jordan's subtle encouragement, began to take its toll. One evening after a particularly grueling day, Jack found himself alone with a bottle of whiskey. The amber liquid shimmered in the dim light, a siren call he could no longer resist. With trembling hands, Jack poured himself a glass. The first sip was a revelation, a moment of bliss that melted away his worries. The second sip came easier, and by the third, he was lost. The wagon he had clung to for so long faded into the background, replaced by the comforting embrace of oblivion. Victor watched from a distance, a satisfied smile playing on his lips. His plan had worked, and Jack Abbott was once again under the spell of his old addiction. It was a victory that tasted sweeter than any corporate conquest, a reminder that in Genoa City, the battle for power was never truly over. Jordan, for her part, felt a pang of guilt. She had played her role perfectly, but at what cost? Aligning with Victor had given her the foothold she desired, but it had also made her complicit in a man's downfall. As she watched Jack spiral, she wondered if the price of power was too high. In the end, Victor's scheme was a stark reminder of the lengths to which he would go to secure his position and exact revenge. For Jack, it was a painful lesson in the fragility of sobriety and the relentless nature of old demons, and for Jordan, it was an introduction to the dangerous games played in Genoa City, where every move was a calculated risk and every alliance a potential trap. The stage was set for the next chapter in the never-ending saga of Genoa City, where secrets and schemes were the currency of power, and the cost of betrayal was measured in lives shattered and dreams undone.